What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. As always, I'm your co-host Donovan Quick, and today we're going to be going over the off-season moves that the Dolphins have made thus far, and I'm going to be going way back to the beginning to where we are right now. And to start out, I'll go way back to the beginning where we fired Josh Boyer. Fired Josh Boyer after the season ended, along with our outside linebackers coach Ty McKenzie, our safeties coach, Steve Gregory, all together were released. And along with that, later on, our offensive line coach was let go. And so to replace all those guys, we got Vic Fangio as defensive coordinator. We hired Max McCaffrey as an offensive assistant. We have Kenny Baker as a defensive line coach, and Steve Dontel as a defensive assistant, and Ronaldo Hill, the former defensive coordinator for the Chargers, is our now pass game coordinator, as well as getting Joe Casper as our safeties coach. So all around, great there for the defense. And then to go back to the offense, we got Butch Berry to be our new offensive line coach, kind of take the pressure off of our offensive coordinator, who Mike McDaniel said was spending way too much time with the offensive line, and he needed him to have better, more offensive coordinator duties this season coming up. So that's it for the coaching. For the players, so we released Keelan Carter, released Byron Jones. Byron Jones was with a post June 1st cut designation, so we won't get that $13 million in savings until after June 1st or on June 1st. We did tender the exclusive rights to Elijah Campbell, so he is going to be a Dolphin. He's not officially under contract yet. They're still negotiating, but he's going to be a Miami Dolphin for next year. One of the more one of the more ceremonial things that happened was Mike Pouncey, longtime Dolphin. I mean, we all loved him for a while, then we hated him for a little while, and then we loved him again. Signed a one-day contract to retire a Miami Dolphin. He's going to be getting his name up in the Ring of Honor, no doubt about it. But then going back to the players, we re-signed all of our running backs, Savon Ahmed, Myles Gaskin, Raheem Mostert, and Jeff Wilson Jr. We are running it back with the squad. As far as receivers go, we signed Braxton Berrios, as you guys just saw just yesterday. Braxton Berrios signed with the Dolphins on a one-year contract. He comes home. He grew up in South Florida, went to UM. He was on the Dolphins practice squad for a little while before he ended up becoming a Jet, and then that's where he really needed a name for himself. Now, back then, when we had him on our practice squad, we had Jakeem Grant. So when you have the best returner in football, you don't really need another returner. The Dolphins, however, do need a returner now that we let Jakeem Grant walk, and now he's on the Browns. And then to go back to the defensive side a little bit, we signed Deshaun Elliott. I'm not even getting into the massive trade for Jalen Ramsey. I mean, massive trade for Jalen Ramsey. So that just like bolsters. We re-signed Nick Needham, which was huge. We still have offers out for Trill Williams, by the way. Sorry, Trill Williams, and we still have Igbo on roster. I know many of you aren't really fond of that, but we got Deshaun Elliott, a safety, to back up Mr. Holland and Mr. Brandon Jones. Not to be confused with Byron Jones. A lot of you guys get them confused. We going back to the offensive side of the ball, involved in that Jalen Ramsey trade, we sent over Hunter Long. So not only is Gesicki probably going to walk, we no longer have one of his backups, which is Hunter Long. Now, not a huge loss considering he has one catch in 2 years. He did have a lot of upside, but man, was his floor like the floor. He had such a low floor. I mean, he might as well have been like below the basement. But we did sign a tight end to a one-year contract. Saubert. It's either Saubert or Sorbert. But he is from Denver. He's a backup. Yeah. He not anything special. So I do want to go and get a nice pass catching tight end. But this tight end draft class is absolutely insane. We'll get into that in another video. And to go further into it, we re-signed Kendall Lamb, which those of you that don't know, he did start 2 games. He didn't finish one because of an injury. He ended up rolling his ankle and being out for the rest of the season, but that was towards the end of the season, so he only missed like 2 or 3 games. But he was really solid when he was in there, and to have him back as our O-line depth, that was huge. Along with signing Dan Feeney from the Jets, another Jets guy. So we actually signed 3 New York Jets, so call us the Miami Jets, I guess. But brought down Dan Feeney. He's an offensive guard. He's going to be a depth piece as well. I guess you can call him a good depth piece, but really if you're... there's so many bad offensive linemen in the NFL that it's really hard to come by good ones. So if you're able to get a good backup is really just really, really bad. Like, let's just face it. I don't know a single team in the NFL that, like, you can plug and play a backup behind, like, Teron Armstead, and it's going to be, like, no drop-off or very minimal drop-off. So you're either good or you're bad. That's just how it is in the NFL when you're coming to offensive line. To go back with the offensive line, not only Dan Feeney, but we also got Jerron Christian. Now, he was on the team for the last 2 games, didn't play a snap. He was on the Chiefs for 10 games. I don't believe he got much playing time. He didn't start at all. So if he did get into the games, it was strictly for injury purposes. But he did not start anywhere in those 10 games that he was with the Chiefs. He got waived, and it was probably for a reason off of the Super Bowl roster. So we also re-signed Duke Riley, which I thought was also really nice. But to go with that linebacker signing, we also got... Thinking of his name. Oh man, why am I I can't think of his name right now. I'm drawing a blank, but it was David Long Jr. I think David was his first name, but Long Jr. He was a fantastic when healthy linebacker, middle linebacker for Tennessee. And it looks like the Dolphins are banking on him because Landon Roberts just signed with Pittsburgh. So Roberts is now off the board. I know some of you really liked him. I liked him in the run game, but this guy is better than the run game, and he's a lot better in the pass game. Roberts could not play zone coverage for his life. So not really sad to see him go. Kind of like he was a captain, but yeah. I much rather have Long and then have Channing Tindall maybe get some snaps in as well. Maybe I think he has potential. And then to go along with all of that, we did sign a new backup quarterback, Mike White. Now, I know Jacob talked about him very minimally in his video about him, but it doesn't feel like an upgrade. I know some of you think he's an upgrade over Teddy Bridgewater and Jacoby Brissett. To me, it just doesn't feel like an upgrade. It feels almost like a lateral move, if not a step down the ladder. Now, one thing you are going to get with him is that the dude is tough as nails. He took a shot from Matt Milano, got back up, played another like half of the game, and then just took another shot, and then it was like no mas. And can't really blame him. I mean, that you take a shot to the ribs like that, you're gonna be hurting for a while. He broke a couple ribs and everything, and the man still wanted to come back in the game. Insane amount of toughness, and he's from Miami. So Braxton Berrios and Mr. Mike White both from Miami. So grew up Dolphin fans, love to see it. Fun fact: Teddy Bridgewater also grew up down here, was also a Dolphin fan. So that's back-to-back years that our potential backup is going to be from South Florida. Now Skylar Thompson, I believe, possibly could take the backup job from Mike White, but Mike White will certainly be on this roster. He's being paid way too much money not to be. So really up to him if he's going to be the backup or the third string. We'll see. And I think that's about it. Sorry. Don't forget, fullback John Lovett, who was on IR for most of the year last year. We re-signed him to a 1-year deal. Now, most of you are asking, well, what about Alec Ingold? Alec Ingold is still on the team. Last year, he signed a 2-year deal for $6.5 million. So he's still on the team. He's still going to be there. I don't think he'd be a cap casualty. He was probably one of our better receiving backs out of the backfield. So there's that. But John Lovett, he can be a fullback or a tight end. So he identifies as a fullback, but he can kind of make that little shiftiness to tight end. He also has decent hands. He's also a really good just punch you in the mouth guy, but he does have some injury history. Now Alec Ingold does as well. So we'll see if he makes the final roster. But yeah, so there is your offseason in a nutshell. I try to summarize it as fast as I could for you in 12 minutes. Look at that. So love you guys. Let me know what you guys think about the offseason moves thus far. What moves do you want to see going forward? And what position do we need to address in your opinion? I already know what my opinion is. I'll be dropping that video on Saturday, so keep an eye out for it. Love you guys. Have a good one. And don't forget, tell somebody you love them. Deuces, guys.